Welcome to the BSBLR Show, guys. It's time to yap some ball. We're going to yuck it up. 30 minutes of baseball bliss coming your way. Today, guys, Cade Horton forearm discomfort. I'm discomfort. Big Amish, big scary, and will Joey Wiemer win MVP? Coming at you right now, guys. We're going to start us off. First of all, how are we doing today, Bryce?
I'm doing good, man. It's sunny and 80 degrees where I'm at. Baseball season in full swing. I'm ready. Let's dig into it.
Yeah, it's like 45 degrees here and windy and a little rainy, but hey, same. Baseball or blitz here, guys. Home run if you like it. Strikeout if you don't. ABS has been fun to watch. Home run or strikeout?
So I'm going to go home run here, and I respect umpires. I know it's a tough job at the end of the day, but I love watching them get proven wrong in front of 30,000 people and millions watching at home. Like, there's nothing more satisfying than CB Buckner, trying to ring up Eugenio Suarez 2 times in a row, and he overturns it both times. I love it, but being serious, I do think it's good for the game. I think any missed call is bad. Some people talk about, human error and the human component of the game, but like, why do you want calls that are incorrect in baseball? That just doesn't make any sense to me. And so at the end of the day, I love it. It's here to stay. I think I'm a big fan of ABS.
And same here. I think it adds this different element where you're watching it and there's strategy to it. There's so much strategy with the 2 challenges and will he use it? Is that the right spot? And also I think I'm going to give credit to the umpires. Watching some of these games that I've seen so far, they've been awesome. Obviously, you have the CB Buckners, and that takes precedent over all of the other really good umpires. But like watching these games, they're like if there's a ball this far outside, they got it. They know it. And they've been incredible, and I've been like really impressed by them. Like I typically not a big umpire guy who is, but like give credit where credit's due. I think it's been freaking awesome the way they've been calling games. But I mean, the strategy that comes along with it and seeing some teams use them and some teams not, I'll be curious to see how it goes because the big thing that happened in spring training is they were asking Aaron Boone about it and how he was going to attack it for the Yankees. And he said, we're just going to use them because the AAA, it showed the research that most teams ended the game with at least one in their pocket. So I'll be seeing how this transitions as the season goes on.
I think you made a really good point with seeing how some umpires are really good at their job because the spotlight's on guys like CB Buckner, and it would have been on Angel Hernandez if he was still around. But this does give you a glimpse into how good the actual good umpires are, though. It really shows you just how talented they are when it comes to making close calls. Now, though, DR, I know you're a Cubs fan, so this might be a little tough for you, but it looks like Cade Horton, we're not – his status is up in the air. And so I got to ask you, home run or strikeout, are the Cubs screwed without Cade Horton?
It's so hard to say screwed, but they're in troublesome water. They're in troublesome water. That's their ace in an already a rotation that is not very top heavy. I think they're pretty deep. They have a lot of solid troops there. But if you have to rely on Matt Boyd having another all-star season or Shota Imanaga bouncing back or Jamison Tyone somehow having like a sub 3.5 ERA, those are some – I feel like last year there's some overperforming with those guys. And then you lose Cade Horton, who looked to be like an ace caliber pitcher. Obviously, you still have Edward Cabrera, but this offense needs to offense. The offense you see in the first half of last year is the offense they're going to need to be if they are going to be a dangerous team come October. And I know it's April 4th, but you have Justin Steele coming back in a couple months probably, and that's going to be a big tell of like how this team's going to be.
Yeah, that's a good point because I know you have Cabrera, but with Horton down, it feels like the rest of the rotation, best case scenario, it's a lot of guys who should be like a 3 or a 4 starter. I know Matthew Boyd, made the All-Star team last year, but we look at his track record, even going back to those Detroit years, he's more of an innings eater than kind of an all-star starting pitcher. So, and Jamison Tyone, he's a decent pitcher. I don't think anybody's going to look at you and say he's a bad pitcher, but he's not going to carry you deep into October. He's just not. That's not the type of guy he is. And so it is a little bit concerning. The offense has got to pick it up, like you said. But, I can't lie to you. It's a big loss. And so it's definitely going to hurt them down the road.
Yeah, dude. And it's exactly like it was last year. Justin Steele got hurt almost at the exact same point. and Justin Steele was their ace at that point too. So it's just the punches, they keep coming, man. They just keep coming. I get so excited for baseball, dude, and I'm like, yes, here we go. And the Cubs are 3-4, and their ace is out for the year. It's like, man, that was week 1. That was week 1.
Only 155 more games to go or whatever.
So excited. Go baseball, right? Go baseball. But speaking of concern, there's some concern going around with Big Amish right now. This dude, he's 1 for 21 with 13 strikeouts. He's batting .043 right now. Are you concerned about Big Amish?
So I'm going to go strikeout here, and I'm not going to act like it's a good thing the way he's starting off the season. But what we saw last year, the hype he had coming in, I refuse to believe it was a mirage. I think he's legit, and I think maybe he's just a slow starter. We see guys like Julio Rodriguez. We talked about him earlier. He's a bit of a slow starter. Maybe Kurtz is just one of those guys we don't really know with him at the big league level yet. But I think, we look at late September, I think he's going to have 30 homers, 100 RBIs. Around there. Worst case scenario, 25 homers, 80 RBIs. I'm really not too worried about him. I think he's going to be a perennial power hitting first baseman. I think he's going to follow in the footsteps of those guys like, Mark Teixeira, Joey Votto, Prince Fielder. I think he fits that mold of like a 30 homer, 100 RBI first baseman. And I think he's going to continue to be that. I'm not really worried long term when it comes to Nick Kurtz.
100%. We have yet to see a full season from him. We got to remember that he came up midway through the year. He only played 117 games, came up through midway through the year, probably when he was tuned up, ready to go, bashing the ball in AAA, brought him straight up to the big. So we haven't seen like the start of a season for him. So, and obviously this is overreaction mode. It's hard not to, this is our job to talk about it, guys. So that's the way to look at this, but it is something that you don't like to see, the K numbers and the low average, but the dude is a dude. The dude is a dude. In July, we will completely forget about this conversation. But I keep an eye out on it. Right now, the A's, they need a guy like Nick Kurtz to start being like Nick Kurtz. So it'll be really interesting to keep an eye on.
Yeah, that offense as a whole is kind of underperformed, a couple weeks into the season. But I think everybody's going to pick it up. And so, DR, I asked you a question about the Cubs and Horton, but now let's go to the White Sox here. Murakami has had no issue getting the ball out of the ballpark. And so I got to ask you, come middle of the season, are teams going to regret the fact that they didn't go after him and get him on the cheap?
I think, of course, like naturally. This is not, it'd be different if he was getting paid like $30 million a year here, but that's just not the case. And obviously it's so early, but you're talking about a guy who had 3 jacks already. You're talking 967 OPS. We got to see a lot more of it. The K numbers are still a little high. And I think that was kind of the books on Murakami, where it was like, hey, he could be Japanese Babe Ruth, baby. But his K rate is concerning. And I think those same talks are still high. His whiff percentage is 40%, along with his K percentage being at 36%. But the barrel percentage really high, hard hit percentage really high. So you're looking at maybe one of those Kyle Schwarber-esque players, but you got him on cheap. It's a complete prove it deal for the White Sox, and you gotta love it. People are talking about it. This is great all around for them. I think teams that need that bopper, especially right now when people are struggling, they're like, oh my God, the guy we expected to really struggle out the gates isn't.
Yeah, I think people really expected Murakami to have a hard time initially and then adjust to it later on, but it seems like he right away is getting after it. And it's good to see the White Sox get some, positive publicity for once. But Murakami, I like the Schwarber comparison. I don't know if he's going to be a 50 homer guy, but I think he's going to fit that mold of player. He's going to strike out 180 times probably if you give him 600 at bats, but it's going to be an 850, 800 OPS, 35 homers, and 100 RBIs. And I mean, that's exactly what you want, especially at that price tag. Teams around the deadline and stuff are going to be wishing like having to pay these prospects to get a stopgap rental. They're going to be like, man, I wish I just paid Murakami. They're going to wish they had this offseason back, in my opinion.
Yeah, and we'll see how it goes, because I remember the big talk on Murakami was he batted .095 on fastballs above 95 miles an hour. So far this year, he's batting .286 with .929 slugging, and he's got 3 home runs all on the fastball. So we got to see how the league adjusts. Does the league adjust and realize like, okay, like he's actually like hunting fastball?
Yo.
Do we adjust, throw him a lot of breaking stuff? And that's what we see at every level. I mean, I feel like so many rookies where it's like, okay, let's see if he can hit this major league fastball. Oh, he can. James Wood. Start throwing him nothing but off speed here. So I wonder how the league's going to adjust, because that was the book going in, is like, yo, fastball's top of the zone. Let's see if he can get to it, baby. And he's seeing fastball 55% of the time right now. So that's a pretty high clip. So we'll see if that changes.
Yeah, he's just the guy I'm rooting for, without a doubt.
Got to.
I want to see him succeed.
Got to. I got this back in my mind. Southside, fuck him to death. But like, he's an interesting, fun player. That team is just full of interesting, fun players. So it's like, we got to see how it's going to all pan out. Time to Dabble Deep Dive, guys. Thank you to our sponsor, Dabble. If you haven't downloaded Dabble yet, now is the time. They're giving you $10 just for signing up when you use code BASEBALLER. The cool part is, once you're on the app, you can actually follow us and copy every single one of our bets throughout the season and playoffs. It's the best DFS app out there. If you want to take more or less on a player like stats like hits, RBIs, total bases, or home runs, download it now and ride with us. Code BASEBALLER, $10 of free play. But with the Dabble Deep Dive, guys, we are deep diving on the Marlins in Sandy Alcantara. If you've been seeing what he's been doing, guys, it's something to kind of keep note of. I know it was against the White Sox and the Rockies. That's all stupid talk for this, but these two outings been pretty good. You're looking at Maddox, a 93-pitch shutty, 9-inning complete game shutty. Not going to see a lot of those in the bigs anymore, guys. Not going to see a lot of those. And then against the Rockies, opening day, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, no runs, 5 Ks, 73 pitches on that one. So super efficient, been a great player. Is this the time that the Marlins actually trade Sandy Alcantara?
Look, it needs to happen. This Marlins team, they're showing some flashes and stuff, but I don't think Sandy's going to be there for the next truly successful Marlins team, in my opinion. I think this is something they probably should have done 3 or 4 years ago. His value, he's rebuilding his value now, but his value doesn't feel as firm as it did a few years ago. In 2025, in the first half, he had an ERA over 7. It looked like he was cooked. Didn't look good. But then in that second half, he got that ERA down to under 3.40. So it looked like he found it in the second half of last year, and now it looks like it's carried over. One thing I love about him is his ability to go complete game. In my generation, when I was growing up, I feel like James Shields was that guy. He would go in and he could throw a complete game any given moment. I think he had 11 in a season at one point, something like that. Sandy maybe isn't quite at that level, but in this generation, in this pitching, nobody goes complete game. And the fact that he threw a complete game in March.
Yeah.
This isn't June or July. He threw a complete game in March. And so he's healthy right now. He's shoving. A team needs to go and get him. There is no reason why they shouldn't. And the Marlins need to listen and do it. It's the time to move on. Sell while he's hot. I know you got to wait maybe a couple months. Once it gets around the deadline, though, if he's hot, there is no reason he should still be playing in Miami.
You want to hear something crazy? Want to hear something absolutely crazy?
Yeah.
Sandy Alcantara has more complete games than Max Scherzer. I just want to say that. It's pretty crazy. 13 of them. It's the skill that this guy has. And he's 30 years old. I think, especially going off of what you were saying, you got to sell him, right? You just got to sell him. He's got 1 year of club control left with a team option. So chances are that means 2 years of club control here. And this has been the talk for the last several years. It's like, Sandy Alcantara, give us all of your prospects. We want them for Sandy. But then it's like, he was ass. So it was like so tough when he posted a 4 ERA after his Cy Young year, then a 5.36 after that year. So now, while the iron's hot, I know it's April, but I bet the Marlins are in people's ears like, hey, you see what Sandy's doing? You like that? What a guy that would be. I hope for the sake of Sandy that he starts coming back to this true form. I don't expect him to win Cy Young. I don't expect him to have that type of caliber, but a sub-4 guy who goes deep into games, I think he still can, bro. He was throwing 98 miles an hour in the 9th inning of that CG. The guy's got stuff. I just feel like sometimes he gets behind in the count, and then it's like, here's the sinker right down the middle. So if he can just control the zone, be in the zone all the time, and get ahead of hitters, his stuff plays.
Yeah, without a doubt, like you said, there's not a ton of team control, but for somebody who on any given night could be an ace for you, like he's got that ace potential. Anytime he steps on the mound, there's the chance he goes complete game.
Yes.
I mean, that's such a valuable thing to have in your rotation. And he clearly looks healthy. Like you said, throwing 98 in the ninth inning. I mean, I don't know what else you could want. And the Marlins, the team control is not what it was, but you could still net easily a top 20 prospect probably in all of baseball. I feel like I think a team that's contending would pull the trigger on something like that, in my opinion.
100%. And where are the Marlins at as a franchise? It's like still a clear rebuild type of phase. So this fits completely. Yes, there's some promise. Owen Casey looks good. Kyle Stowers is going to be a guy for them. Xavier Edwards is going to hit 300 with his eyes closed. Like there's a ton of good stuff going on there. Yuri Perez, I picked him as my dark horse Cy Young. I think the guy is absolutely lights out. There's a lot of good there, but I don't think 32-year-old or 30, he's 30-year-old now, but by the time they're going to be good, I think like he's going to be 32-year-old. Does that sound like the future of the Marlins? Probably not. Rebuild makes a lot more sense for Sandy to be gone, go to another team. And I think that makes a ton of sense for what the Marlins future looks like. So we got to see how it all shapes out. But we're going to go to the guys. We're going to go to our league leaders. It's nice bringing this back. It's nice bringing this back. It's been so long. These names are going to get weird. We're going to get nasty with these names. This is not what you're probably going to hear in July. But guess what? It's April 4th, baby. Let's rip it. Let's ride it. Here are our league leaders in the American League. We have batting average. Yandy Diaz batting .433. Home run leaders. Chase DeLauder and Shea Langeliers tied with 5 homers. RBI leaders. We got 5 names. All the names I just mentioned. Ben Rice and Tristan Gray. I almost just got canceled right there. But almost just got canceled. So close to being canceled. OPS leader, 1.409 by Yordan Alvarez. Is that Barry? Barry? Do I see you? Do I see you? Stolen bases leader, Jazz Chisholm with 4. On to pitching categories. ERA, I'm going to say minimum of 2 outings. Otherwise, we're going to have a lot of names here, guys. But Max Fried, Cam Schlittler, Jose Siriano through 2 outings, 0 ERA. I wonder if that'll continue. They're on pace for a 0 ERA, guys. They're on pace. Strikeout leaders. We have Kevin Gausman with 21 in 2 outings. Damn, 21. Whip leader, 7.2 or 0.725. Again, Kevin Gausman. That's our guy, the split legend. And then saves leader, we have David Bednar with 3. Wow, incredible. What an absolute lock of some players here, guys. Look at this with Yandy Diaz. And in the NL, guys, we got some names here too. We have our average leader. We have Joey Wiemer, 588 average. What are we talking about, guys? Home run leaders in the National League. We have a tie for 3. I'm not even going to say the names. A lot of names here, guys. A lot of homers, but Francisco Alvarez, Drake Baldwin, O'Neal Cruz, Ellie De La Cruz, Ian Happ, Liam Hicks, Brandon Lau, and Kyle Schwarber have 3 RBI leaders, guys. As you would have only expected it on April 4th, Liam Hicks leads the National League with 12 RBIs. Who would have guessed? I would have. That's my guy. And our OPS leader. No way this regresses, guys. Joey Wiemer with a 1.741 OPS. That is our legend. Let's move on to the pitching categories for the National League. We have leading our boy Sandy Alcantara with 0. Eduardo Rodriguez, Venezuelan legend, WBC legend, guys. WBC legend with a 0 ERA to start it. Our whip leaders, guys. We don't have a tie. Sorry. We have Sandy Alcantara. Again, at 0.56 whip. Absolutely insane here, guys. And then we have our saves leader. Yohan Duran leads it with 2. Edwin Diaz tied. Pete Fairbanks, Mason Miller, Emilio Pagan, and Paul Sewald. Paul Sewald comeback season? Let's see. He's a little old, but let's see if he still got it with 2 saves on the year. And those are our league leaders. Any thoughts there, Mr. Bryce? Any thoughts?
I had 2 thoughts here. One, Joey Wiemer is the greatest hitter of the generation. He's Barry Bonds reincarnated. And 2, I would not be shocked if Yandy Diaz ran the table the whole year and got the batting title. I could see it. And he's a guy, he could walk out of bed hitting 280. I mean, I would Yandy Diaz, I know we're getting off on a tangent here. One of the most underrated players of the last 10 years, I feel like. Gets no love because he's in Tampa. Nobody cares because he's in Tampa. He's a guy that they won't get rid of either. I feel like everybody else gets to go to a contender and have fun, but poor Yandy. The Rays contend sometimes, but they never actually quite get there, But I just love Yandy Diaz. We need some Yandy Diaz appreciation.
I mean, you gotta love him, dude. Over the lowest average he's had since 2022 is 281. Like and that was like a bad year for him. We're talking years of 300, 281, 330, and 296. Like with a batting title. And he's on pace to bat 433 this year.
On pace. And Joey Wiemer's probably on pace for 8,000 RBIs.
Dude. Hey, bro, don't doubt my boy Weems, bro. Don't doubt my boy Weems. Bro, look at some of those measurable stats there for Joey Wiemer. The dude hits the ball hard. He didn't get many at-bats last year. I mean, there's a lot of swing and miss in his game, and there still is. His K percentage is at 37, even so far. Or that was last year, excuse me. This year, it's only at 27. It's at 18% for K rate, 27% for whiff rate. So if he could just limit those strikeouts, everything else is obviously dark red because he's balling out and he's only had 17 at bats. but don't let that bring me down. Joey Wiemer MVP incoming. It's happening.
Yeah, I mean, I have no choice but to agree. I believe in the Wiemer.
Men lie, women lie. Stats don't lie. Stats never lie. And Joey Wiemer is my guy. We're talking about a guy going absolutely crazy here. I mean, there's a lot to unpack here. We have, I think, Cam Schlittler and the Yankees rotation. So first of all, two of the guys that we're looking at right now that are leading the league in ERA. So obviously 2 outings so early in the season. I don't need to keep repeating myself there. I feel like I need to put that caveat. So people aren't just listening to be like, what are these guys talking about? But look at this Yankees rotation here, guys. Those 2 guys have been absolutely lights out to start the year. Cam Schlittler and Max Fried with 0 ERAs. If you watch Cam Schlittler, you understand why the guy is so gross. He's throwing 100 miles an hour pretty much throughout the entire game, throwing a 94-mile-an-hour cutter and just K-ing people like crazy. And he is yet to walk a hitter. I think
Wow.
that's the thing. When you look at a guy throwing 100 miles an hour, you're like, okay, like when do the wheels come off the track, right? And if a guy's pumping the zone with that type of stuff, wow.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt. And I mean, I know firsthand that Schlitter is legit. I saw him, dominate my poor Red Sox back last October. But while they're waiting for Garrett Cole and Rodon to come back, how about Will Warren and then the boys stepping up? Ryan Weathers as well stepping up. That was an underrated pickup. The Marlins can trade Weathers, but they can't trade Sandy, I guess. But that was a great pickup by them too. I think he's going to have a good year. And so the guys are just stepping up for the Yankees. This is an amazing rotation.
No, I think there's a lot of, and this is not even mentioning that Carlos Rodon could be back in, let's say, a month. He's had some interesting news with his hamstring and what's going on there. But regardless, let's say
it makes you better.
Let's say this just carries you until end of May. You get into June. Let's say Garrett Cole comes back by that point. Now that rotation looks, obviously you're asking a lot for Garrett Cole to just be like, hey, haven't seen you in a year and a half, buddy. Be an ace. But like, it is Garrett Cole. I don't know if I just have this feeling in my head where I'm like, he is Garrett Cole. He will do Garrett Cole things.
Yeah, I mean, he might not, light it up, win the Cy Young or something, but I refuse to believe Cole's going to come back and suck. Like, there's just no way.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure it'll be one of those where we watch his first outing, he blows up and gives up like 5 runs, and we are like, hey, is Garrett Cole washed up? Like, it'll be like that type of thing. But like, dude, he's going to be, is Garrett Cole, he's got a huge pedigree. You got to trust that pedigree to some degree. But like, can you imagine that rotation when everyone is healthy, right? And who knows what happens, but like Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, Max Fried, then you have Schlittler as a 4. And then you have all of the slew of guys, the Ryan Weathers, Luis Heels, Will Warren. Just that's some options that you have. And that's without mentioning Carlos Granje, who throws like 102 in the minors just on the 40-man waiting for an opportunity. So like you have this opportunity of the Yankees having the best rotation in baseball like this. When we come into July, we come post All-Star break.
Yeah, the Yankees every year, I look at their team and I'm like, without Judge, what would they be? But
Yeah.
then these guys always step up every year. Every year they have a new guy. Like last year, I felt like it was Ben Rice. He's carried it over. And then we've got Schlittler. He's looking like he looked great in the playoffs. He's carrying it over. They have a knack for finding these guys and developing talent. I know it feels like they kind of fumbled Jason Dominguez's development a little bit, but they do so much good. I know, and then in the past, they Clint Frazier, Miguel Andujar, they've fumbled a lot of talent, but they've also done a lot of good with a lot of talent too. And so the Yankees, they've always put themselves in a nice position to win.
And that's also without even thinking about Spencer Jones. I know his spring training was something really good. He had Joey Wiemer like stats in spring
Pull the
training.
Joey Wiemer.
I mean, Spencer Jones could be like his ceiling is a Joey Wiemer. It could be in 2026 Joey Wiemer, mind you. I mean, you're looking at a guy in spring where he was in 13 games hit 6 homers.
Wow.
I mean, a 1.5 OPS in that time. You got to imagine that there's going to be an opportunity for him this year. I was surprised that he didn't make camp.
You kind of hate that Grisham took that qualifying offer. It feels like he crowded that outfield a lot.
That is such a weird thing in hindsight.
Grisham, but like, it's weird they offered him that though. I'm just not sure. I feel like they could have gotten him cheaper on the open market if they let him go. They wanted him back. He just really crowds that outfield right now.
I think it was one of those things where they got their hand caught in the cookie jar, where they're like, okay, we should let him walk, but like if we offer him that qualifying offer, like he won't take it. He won't take it. But we really want that comp. We really want that comp pick, though.
That's what it was.
We really want that comp pick. And then there's Trent being like, "Yo, 20 mil, give me that."
You made an excellent point. He had a 30 homer season. They probably thought he was feeling himself. He was going to reject it, get a multi-year deal, and they were going to get that pick. I guarantee that was the thought process.
Very interesting. Very interesting. And I want to bring up another topic that was a big one in the offseason too. Framber Valdez, 2 outings in, looking pretty good. I think there was a lot of talk of like, hey, like the clubhouses are gonna hate him. He's gonna be such a bad impact on the team. Want to know what a bad impact on the team is or what isn't? It's a guy with in 2 outings having a 0.75 ERA and just absolutely just dicing out there. He's got 10 Ks already. Just looking really good out there. And the whole scenario, obviously, with him crossing up his catcher, horrible look. Allegedly, intentionally crossing up his catcher. We will never know. But so far for the Tigers, you gotta like what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the best cure for any questions about a player's attitude is to go out and dominate, and then people suddenly don't care as much anymore. I feel like.
I mean, because that won't be a story if the guy's, having a sub 2 at the break.
Nobody's gonna care what he did about his attitude. I can tell you that.
No, because it's like, hey man, clubhouse is important, and that's where I think with it, as long as the team has established leaders, I don't think it's going to impact it very much. Even if he's like a negative teammate, right? Like, if the team has a Skubal and you have Verlander there now, and the teams get a little older year by year. Like, I feel like there's going to be some good leadership in that clubhouse. As long as Framber isn't like a complete cancer to everything, like there's just, I don't think it's going to matter too much because he's going to go out there every 5th day, shove, go back in the dugout and just be a part of it. And as long as, again, we don't know him as a teammate, obviously all we hear is grapevine stuff from what we've heard from people avoiding that conversation. It tells you a lot by people not stepping up and saying like, oh no, like Framber's my boy. Like a lot, you can read a lot what people aren't saying. Kind of like the whole Schwarber Castellanos deal where he was like, didn't want to talk about like
that was hard to watch.
It's like, it's hard to say. Was Nick Castellanos a bad teammate? Tough to say. Like that tells you everything.
That means yes.
You said a lot.
Yeah. One thing too, do you really think veterans like Verlander and Skubal are gonna let Framber take over the clubhouse and make it a mockery? There's no way. Backup catcher Jake Rogers, he's been there forever. He's not gonna let that slide either. I mean, there's no way. There's no way. They've got enough vets on that team. Even if he did come in with a bad attitude or something, like we said, we don't actually know him. We don't know. But if he did, there's no way he could get away with that with all the veterans in there. No way.
100%. 100%. Well, guys, there you go. 30 minutes and probably 32 seconds of baseball bliss for you guys today. We appreciate you guys listening. Hop on Spotify. Give us a follow. Go on YouTube. Watch this thing with your eyes. And look how pretty the boys look today. Saturday morning, no makeup, just ripping and riding raw. And we're going. But guys, make sure you click that subscribe button. You look at us on Spotify. You look at us on Instagram, all of the socials. Make sure you tune in every Saturday. We're going to be ripping and riding the rest of the season, giving you baseball content that you just need in your life. Thanks again for watching, guys. We will talk to you soon. Peace.